Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the webinar today. My name is Ben Zelikovitz. I'm one of the co-founders of GetQuorum. The audience that's here today is pretty exciting as we have condominium and homeowner association property managers from all around North America. And so as we're approaching the second peak AGM season since the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic, we've brought you all here today to help show you what we've done since maybe you would have last worked with us last busy season. And so for many of our clients, exclusively virtual AGMs are still the only option. For other clients, hybrid AGMs and in-person AGMs are now on the horizon. So we're here today to talk about the advancements in GetQuorum's technology that will help to ensure that your next AGM is quicker and more efficient. After hosting nearly 2,000 AGMs over the past 20 months or so, we've learned quite a bit about what is expected and what is needed to make an AGM experience better for our hosts, our panelists, our chairpersons, and our voters themselves. I expect this presentation should last roughly 20 minutes, lots of opportunity for Q&A, and we'll get you on your way to have a nice afternoon. As always, we are recording this webinar and we'll share it with anyone that is registered, and we'll be sharing it on our blog. So having said that, let's get into it. So here's a quick rundown of what we're going to be discussing today. I'll do a very, very brief overview of GetQuorum, as I know that there's some people that are meeting me and us for the first time today. Then we'll jump into the bulk of the presentation, which really focuses on the new developments of our platform since our last busy season. So let's get it started. So for those that aren't familiar with GetQuorum, we're an industry-leading provider of electronic voting and virtual meeting services. Our service has been custom designed for condominium and HOA markets in Ontario, Alberta, British Columbia, the state of Florida, the state of Illinois, and we've worked in dozens of other, pardon me, not dozens, in at least handfuls of other states and provinces across North America. Since 2015, we've provided our service to thousands of owner meetings and AGMs and began hosting virtual owner meetings in response to the COVID pandemic last March. We are the only Zoom ISV voting platform on the market. This unique partnership, we'll be talking a lot about it today, which required Zoom to conduct an extensive vetting of our software, allows us to bring market-leading virtual meeting services, increase security, and to bring more flexible virtual meeting solution to meet the dynamic needs of the condominium election and voting processes. We are proud members of CCI chapters all across Canada, as well as CAI chapters in Canada, Florida, Illinois, and nationally in the United States. Lastly, what made us all very proud, we're really proud to be voted as the Associate of the Year by the ACMO, or the Association of Condominium Managers of Ontario, for 2020, specifically for our work in innovating virtual AGMs, which was a tremendous honor for us. Our services, super quickly, include electronic consent and meeting notice distribution. So we help move your owners onto electronic notice delivery. We reduce your printing and mail costs. And for clients in jurisdictions that require it, we also gather voting certificates, which is an opt-in process that many owners must take prior to participating electronically in an election. We run electronic advanced balloting and proxy voting, which gives your owners the opportunity to vote and submit proxies or ballots prior to your meeting. And then the bread and butter service, of course, is our hosted virtual owner meeting and real-time voting. And the trick here is that our advanced voting and our live in-meeting voting and virtual meeting software are all integrated together for a seamless and smooth delivery. So now you're a little familiar with the basics of what our service includes, but I want to kind of clarify what it is that you should expect from us if we are lucky enough to be your vendor of choice. So what we're here to show you is how our technology has innovated to make AGMs more stress-free. They'll never be totally stress-free, but maybe a little less stressful. However, we are also focused on delivering best-in-class service. So when it comes to AGMs, there is no room for error. Every cell of every Excel spreadsheet, every proxy, all votes, everything must be meticulously monitored. Our customer success team is here to help you get onboarded and see your meeting through to completion, all the way to post-meeting reporting. All of this, we hope, and our customers tell us, result in a stress-free experience for the boards, for property managers. And lastly, our technology is proven to drive more engagement from your owners, making achieving your hard-to-reach thresholds to pass bylaws and rule changes suddenly very attainable. But what we're really here to do is to talk about what is new at GetQuorum. So let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to talk about is our automated voter registration. And so what we've seen over the past year is that anybody can claim to host a virtual meeting, but very few have technology to back it up. So it is great to tell a condominium board that you have unlimited time for your meeting, but if a solution requires any amount of manual time to worry about conducting manual processes such as registration, renaming, identifying voters in attendance, then you're not truly using technology and you're not really benefiting from the experience of a virtual AGM. Registration is the starting point for a meeting. It is absolutely critical that registration happens quickly and that it happens without error. So what we've done in GetQuorum system, by virtue of our integration with Zoom, which has helped us automate the process of registering all attendees. So not only are all the attendees securely identified before they join your meeting, but they join the meeting uniformly named to include their unit number or addresses and their full name based on the records that our clients have provided to us. This leaves no room for manual error. It allows the chairperson to immediately determine whether there is quorum. It is a fact that owners who have submitted proxies prior to the meeting, they will attend. They will potentially also choose to vote later on. So simply relying on the registration processes that are provided to you by Zoom, the native app of Zoom, or the other webinar providers is wholly insufficient and lacks the nuanced reporting needs to run an AGM. In other words, our automated registration process will help you determine who is here. Of those that are here, has anybody already voted? Our technology takes the guesswork out of registration and shortens your meeting duration significantly. You're able to start your meetings immediately. The next thing that is new, and I guess before I get into it, I'll share a fact with you all. A portion of your ownership group will submit an advanced proxy or ballot and then also decide to attend the AGM. From there, those owners may or may not choose to revoke their proxy. And it doesn't matter how many times you ask them at the start of the meeting, do you want to revoke your proxy? Ultimately, when it comes down to the voting period, voters will want to cast their ballots regardless of whether or not they have already proxy voted. This challenge makes it difficult to tabulate and track proxies. So if it is permissible under your local jurisdiction, GetQuorum system will allow all voters to have maximum flexibility. They can vote before the meeting, they can vote during the meeting, or they can do both. What's important is that our system will automatically revoke a previously submitted proxy instantly, and this maintains the right of the owners to cast their votes in whatever manner they choose. Tracking all of this is super imperative as well. Not holding up the meeting with lengthy scrutinization processes is the key to having an efficient meeting. So allowing for automated revocation makes your meetings run smoother and limits opportunities for voters to cry foul should they be denied the opportunity to vote live, which we've seen happen many times. Another big fact is that a not insignificant portion of meetings will continue to have paper proxies submitted to them prior to the meeting. And yes, we all know paper proxies are a pain in the butt, but they are also an integral right of owners to use. Owners that are unable or unwilling to attend an AGM or that lack the technical capability to submit an electronic vote or proxy prior to the meeting need to be able to submit a paper-based proxy. I feel very strongly about that. It is important, though, that you're able to incorporate paper-based proxies into your virtual AGM to give all owners the same playing field. So incorporating a paper-based proxy into your virtual or hybrid AGM was a headache to start at the beginning of AGM season last year. This year, we have created a whole new process that allows us to digitize and upload paper proxies directly into the GetQuorum platform. It allows you to include paper proxies into the automatic tallying and the automated revocation our system affords to voters. It extends maximum voting flexibility to owners that have submitted a paper proxy prior to the meeting, like all other owners that have participated only electronically. In other words, this levels the playing field so that anybody can attend the meeting, whether they thought they were going to be able to or not, and anybody can vote as provided that they are eligible. So what does the paper proxy tool do? It does more than make the process of recording, scrutinizing, and summarizing paper proxy votes easier than before. It helps to improve efficiency, improve transparency, prevent potential errors normally associated with paper proxy votes, improves tracking, record keeping, and management of paper proxies, and overall improves the credibility of your voting results. We've enabled this feature very recently, within the past, I'd say 6 weeks or so, receiving excellent feedback from it. The way it works is very straightforward. Upon receiving a paper proxy, our property managers, lawyers, users, whomever is leading the charge from our client's perspective for organizing the AGM and receiving the proxies, typically the property manager, now uploads the paper proxy directly into GetQuorum's platform. The tool is accessed through our membership page on your GetQuorum dashboard. From there, you're able to enter the proxy data via a few simple steps, and you can see a screenshot there moving around. You simply log into your dashboard, find the member or unit that provided you with the paper proxy, click Add the Proxy button, upload the PDF if you choose to do so, answer a few questions based on the proxy. Bob's your uncle. You have now digitized that paper-based proxy, and you've extended that voter's right to participate fully in the virtual AGM should they choose to do so. Okay, so what is next that's new at GetQuorum? It's subgroup voting, and we recently released our subgroup voting feature. This enhancement to our platform allows us to restrict voting based on eligibility on a question-by-question basis when required, including such scenarios as the infamous owner-occupied election in the province of Ontario. For those that may not be from Ontario, there's a particular board position that may only be voted upon by owners that own and live in their suite. So if our clients can identify who those units are, we will now restrict voting on those owner-occupied positions to only voters that are eligible. Whereas previously there was a bit of an honor system that was used with a potential for an audit at a later point if there was any suspicion of foul play. But for now, we're able to restrict that voting to the group of unit owners that have been designated as owner-occupied. In the state of Florida, it's very common for us to see sub-association votes and master association votes at the same meeting. So it's important for us to be able to section off groups of voters to allow them to vote for their sub-association before the collective group also then votes for the master association. And there are limitless possible scenarios here that apply to other jurisdictions that we operate, as well as in the corporate shareholder voting space. And this feature is available for both our advanced voting, meaning we can now restrict proxy voting to owners that are owner-occupied, and we can restrict proxy voting in the state of Florida to members that are part of specific sub-voting groups. So that's very exciting for us. So let's take a quick look at how it works. Is when sub-voting group is used, the interface of GetQuorum's voting platform will inform the voter whether or not they were eligible to vote. Eligible voters will be presented with the question to vote on. Ineligible voters will receive a message indicating that they are no longer or they are not eligible to vote on this specific matter. Let's look at a case study. This is T.C.M.A, one of our clients in beautiful South Florida. To be honest, it's actually the largest condominium association meeting we've ever run, with over 5,300 units and over 12,000 residents. So this particular HOA had 32 sub-associations and a master association. So in one single meeting, they achieved quorum for the first time ever. I kid you not. They elected successfully a master association, and they handled over 3 dozen or over 2 dozen sub-association votes all within the same meeting. So they were pretty happy. And if they're happy, we're pretty happy. Custom grouping and fractional shares. This particular feature is required to do meetings effectively in the state of Florida and in the province of Alberta, as well as other jurisdictions where votes may be weighted according to the unit size, percentage of ownership, shares, or otherwise. Some jurisdictions, like Alberta, require that multiple voters in a single unit have the right to vote. So an example of that would be partner A and partner B in unit 101 may both attend the meeting, and they may both vote at the meeting, and they can vote in opposing ways. That would be an interesting dinner conversation, but that is the right of the voters in Alberta to vote however they see fit, and the two voters will split the number of shares that are attributed to that unit. So it is a critical feature for us to run quick and efficient meetings and to lean on and leverage technology, which helps us run faster, more efficient meetings, trimming down voting periods and trimming down scrutinization periods. Well, yes, I do have a case study. This is one of our favorite clients in Alberta, the Puffin, and they were generous enough to help us test out the shareholder system, where we're able to deliver them an efficient meeting, achieve quorum, and have over 55% of their building participate in the election. So at this point, I have to give major props to our development team. They've been hard at work, and it shows with all the features that we've come up with. Also have to give a lot of credit to our clients who have given us a ton of feedback and have helped us test and provide feedback on new features as we're perfecting them. So before I let you go, I wanted to give you a little tease of what we're working on now and what we expect to be rolling out for our October meetings. So before we continue with the stuff that we've got planned, just as a reminder, earlier this year, we were announced as a Zoom ISV partner. Zoom had to do a vetting of our software in order to let us into this program. But what it gives us is a look under the hood of Zoom's code and their development, and allows us to sync up our applications to do things that are pretty cool. And so this includes stuff like enhanced meeting security, and most importantly, to improve the attendee experience. And this gives our team the ability to expand on our development and deepen the integration with Zoom to do cool stuff. What is the cool stuff? So we're working on a variety of new applications that we're going to be bringing to the market. We're really excited about it. The first thing that we're working on is a mobile application for voters that is more seamless than what we have running presently. The second is a desktop application that and I'm going to give you a glimpse at it, that will give voters the ability to install an app very quickly, very similar to Zoom, with an embedded voting process into it. Streamlines everything, makes the voting process super quick, uninstalls itself, and makes for a very efficient meeting. More specifically for the property managers and anybody that is present at this meeting that is responsible for organizing and hosting in-person or hybrid meetings, we have a hybrid meeting application that is well underway. And this is going to allow us to more smoothly administer hybrid and in-person electronic voting. And then lastly, we have an enhanced web browser experience for voters. All of these things are designed to do two things: make the voting experience easier, make the voting experience faster, and to make the meeting from end to end be more efficient for our clients. Pardon me, I forgot to move the slide forward. So shorter meetings, more efficient meetings, better attendee experience, improved service in the complex meeting environments, and enhancing security. That's the goal of what we've been working on. So I promised you 20 minutes. So I have a 30-second presentation or demonstration of what we've got coming up. I'll run you through that, and then we'll be done. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so what you guys are now looking at is going to be a YouTube clip of one of our new applications that we've got under development. So the process always starts the same way with GetQuorum. We send the voters, each voter receives a unique and secure email from GetQuorum. So here's your voter opening up the email. Now this email is sent to the voter repeatedly leading up to the time of the meeting. The trick is these days, or before this application is released, the voter has to go back into their email during the voting period and click on a button to bring up our voting platform. The big change that we've done now is when the voter joins the meeting portal, they are now taken onto the GetQuorum platform which we have embedded Zoom on top of. So no longer will the voters be in Zoom and then have to go into their email client to vote. They will be joining Zoom that is embedded inside of GetQuorum. And for simplicity's sake, we're going to skip right to the voting period. So when the voting period comes up, it will look exactly like a Zoom poll. And so when don't vote for me, please, in the example. Oh no, I don't want to be on the board again. But what this is showing you is that the voting process is super quick. And once a voter has joined, they're no longer do they have to dig through their inbox to make and find their ballot, which will trim the meeting time down significantly. And so we're all really excited about that. And I expect that we'll be asking some of our clients in the later half of this month if they're okay with us testing it out on them. It's been 21 minutes. I promised you 20. And I want to thank you all once again for being here. If you have any questions at all, I'm happy to answer them. I do see 2 questions in there from Naki. Naki, great questions. First question is, who is responsible to digitize the paper proxy, GetQuorum or the corporation? Most definitely the corporation. I would say that GetQuorum has a full service approach. So if you need help in any way, you even want to get on the phone with us and do it when we're on the phone, we're more than happy to do that. But it's very important that the interpretation of the proxies that have been submitted to management, that the interpretation is done by property management. GetQuorum is not in the business of and does not want to be involved in the interpretation of instructions that are laid out on paper-based proxy. That is something that we always take instruction from our clients. So that is an excellent question. And then Naki's next question was, who do you work with at the Condo Corp level? So that's an interesting question. As I would say that when virtual meetings started, and basically for the past 18 months, we've really been focusing on working mostly directly with condominium corporations. And we provide condominium corporations with a fully hosted service or solution where GetQuorum virtually attends the meeting. And so that's our hosted virtual meeting. However, we do have a partner program, and this is gaining popularity. In fact, we've got 2 law firms and 1 property management firm already on board. And we're doing a webinar on this as well. And this allows property management companies that have seen enough virtual AGMs to know that they don't need GetQuorum to be there. They just need to know how to push the buttons inside of GetQuorum. So all to say, if you are a condominium corporation and you don't want to have to worry about anything, you can come to us directly. Or if you are a property manager and a property management firm and you guys feel confident and you understand the inner workings of general software applications, reach out to us and we can teach you a little bit about our partner model and maybe it's right for you. Thank you for the questions, Naki. Okay, so 23 minutes past the hour. I thank you all very much for attending. That is it from me. I'll stick around for another minute or 2 to make sure there are no questions. But thanks again, everybody. We will be distributing a recording of this via our blog, and we will be distributing it via our newsletter probably in a couple of weeks. Naki, more questions. I love it. What is the minimum time required to set it all up? So, I mean, you could send us a spreadsheet and we can have you uploaded within a day. I think the better question, Naki, is what is the notice of service requirement for your jurisdiction? And so that is a different question, but we require very little turnaround just to get you set up and onboarded. As long as you're standard to the jurisdictions that we know very, very well, which are Florida, Illinois, Ontario, Alberta, British Columbia, Virginia, Maryland. As long as you're in one of those areas, we're cool to get you on board within a couple of days with just an Excel spreadsheet of your owner data. Hopefully that answers your question. All right. Okay, well, I'm not seeing any additional questions. So thanks again, everybody. I'm going to sit around for the 20 seconds, then I'll close down the webinar. And thank you all once again for attending.